Thank you, Dr. Hudis, and good morning. Cliff offered a great introduction to the need for CancerLinQ today. In the next few minutes, I'd like to show you how CancerLinQ is going to achieve what we've set out to do. Right now in our exhibit hall, members and attendees are getting the first look at the real CancerLinQ, a project that has been almost 5 years in development. This is the platform that, with some refinements, this is by physicians for physicians. So we are taking, not only showing the platform to our colleagues, but asking for their input on how to improve it. But this platform will be rolling out later this year to a group of 15 initial practices around the country. Their aggregate patient contribution to CancerLinQ will be about 500,000 patients and will get us launched. While building this multi-year effort, this first version accomplishes many of the important things that we want to achieve. Practices who are participating in this will see immediate and tangible benefits, and specifically I want to point out 4 ways that this project will help them almost immediately. Now, I want to make sure you understand that the images you see and the demo that is running is being run on a hypothetical data set. Real data will begin to roll into CancerLinQ starting right after this meeting, but it still illustrates the points that we want to make. First, doctors will have powerful new ways to visualize their electronic records. Do I control the slide?
Push your button.
I push that button. All right. So this is the landing page on which they will that will show up on their desk this morning. But when I saw this, it was just mind-boggling. Physicians will be able to see for the first time, really, a longitudinal record of any given patient's case over time, laid out in a way that presents the information in such a logical and compelling and searchable and computable fashion that I think over time physicians will say, I cannot practice without this. You can see in an instant the story of that patient's characteristics, the care they've received, the outcomes they've experienced, and so forth. You can then drill down into any one of these. So the time is across the top. The lanes there describe the different types of things, and everything is laid out in perfect chronological fashion. So you can drill down and say, gee, I want to remember what happened last February. What was that treatment that we gave the patient? And you can see it and visualize it. The same for the pathology, any testing, any complications, and so forth. In the past, a physician would have to spend a great deal of time piecing together a narrative, flipping through electronically the version of a paper chart a page at a time. So this actually begins to coordinate the patient's care in ways that have never been possible up to this point. Second, physicians will have a new way of looking at the quality of care. At its heart, CancerLinQ is a quality improvement program. So here's a physician that's looking at a quality measure called adjuvant chemotherapy received. This is for colon cancer. The metric is that patients should start their chemotherapy for stage 3 colon cancer within 120 days of diagnosis. You can see in the upper right-hand box, this physician is at 80%, but there's something that says potential high 100%. There are 5 patients in this particular physician cohort. 4 of them have received the therapy. 1 has not received the therapy, and that patient is listed here, and it says patients in an actionable time frame. And this particular patient is inside the window of opportunity, but has not yet been treated. The big difference in the way we're presenting this quality program to physicians versus things that have done in the past is that most quality programs are to some extent, tests. The care is all done. You look retrospectively, then you get a report card and you say, here's how well you did. What we're trying to do is error-proof the system. We're trying to say everybody ought to get 100%, and we are going to present tools to you to not do a gotcha moment, but to do a help you moment, to say if you can move this patient along in her treatment decision, you will achieve 100% compliance in this measure. So there she is, and you can also compare in real time your performance against the performance of your practice, against the performance of your peers, either regionally or nationally. This can be charted in so many different ways to allow the physician to understand where they are. There is nothing more powerful in improving physician quality than simply to measure it and display it compared against your peers. A third way that we will help physicians is to query the data to gain new insights. The reports you see here looks at 2 different types of chemotherapy given to patients with colon cancer. Here we have said this toxicity, which is neutropenia, a white count that has dropped low enough to be potentially dangerous, and this is all patients. And here we are in just separating out the patients who are over 70. And you can see that in this chemotherapy, which in this case is called CAPOX, compared to FOLFOX, the neutropenia for CAPOX patients over 70 years old in this cohort is substantial. Knowing this could influence your decision on what chemotherapy to describe based on patient's age or other characteristics that you can look at. This chart can be drawn from all patients in CancerLinQ. The practice will be able to drill down into their own patients to see if their experience matches or differs. If it matches, obviously that concordance is confidence building. If it differs, one can begin to try to understand what are we doing differently in terms of dosing or the types of patients we see that make our practice unique. I want to urge you, I took you through about 2% of the power of this platform. It's running now in the exhibit hall, and if you have a chance, it's right up at the front. Go in and let one of our experts take you through a test drive and do some clicking yourself. We have 15 Vanguard practices. I want to express my gratitude. They are spread all over the country. They range in size from a 6-person community-based practice all the way up to 3 NCI comprehensive cancer centers. We know the experiences of these trailblazing practices will allow us to create the experience we need and gain the experience we need to make CancerLinQ a reality. I also want to thank our colleagues at our technology partner, SAP, who's worked incredibly hard along the CancerLinQ team to complete this demo for the meeting. And finally, I want to thank all the generous donors who helped us make this a reality.